Hello! Today I'm going to show you how to make a graphic aesthetic that you could use on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere for your book. So there's a lot of people that like to make these, and while I'm not the best at it, I know how to do it, and I'd be happy to share how I do it. So there's a couple things you'll need, and this isn't the only way to do it or anything like that, but it is one way. So what I use is all free. One of the things you'll need is Canva. This is an account to make different graphics and things like that. So this is where you'll be putting it together. Then you also need to have things to put into it. There's a couple different websites. Canva itself does include some free to use photos and things like that. There's also sites like Unsplash, which have a lot of stock images that you can use. There's also sites like Pexels, which has both photo and video. Video can be really fun, though it's a little bit more advanced. I'm going to show you just the basics. And what I think a lot of people use is Pinterest. So I'm going to make one basically and kind of walk you through the steps of how I might make just a, normal like 3x3 grid aesthetic and what goes into that. So one of the first things you kind of have to figure out is what you want to put in that. So for me, I have a little document here. And so I came up with something, and this is something that might help. I'll actually make this just a bit bigger so that it's easier to read. And so this is just a cowboy book. It's a book about cowboys. That's as far as this concept has been developed. And there were some key things. This isn't a real book. This is just something to play around with. And so I've picked the genre, which is a Western/romance. I have some characters. So I have the main character, who is a cowpoke on the run from the law for a crime they didn't commit. I have a love interest who is an outlaw with a heart of gold looking for revenge. I have some settings. So obviously, the Wild West, a small town, maybe a valley somewhere. I want maybe some nighttime things and maybe something about a bonfire. So trying to think about that. Some objects, horses. They're not objects, they're animals, but you know what I mean. Maybe a rattlesnake or a tattoo, I was kind of thinking, and maybe a big bank vault to show that at some point there might have been a crime or something that they did. And I was also thinking about quotes. So I might want to quote about revenge or running from the law or things like that. So you're going to know way more about your book, obviously, than I know about this that doesn't have a single word to its name. But this is just to give an idea of the sorts of things that you might want to think about when you're putting together an aesthetic. So based off of some of this, I'm going to go into Pinterest. And I'm going to start making my board, my pin board. I've already made it here, but the way that you make it, if you've never done it before, you just hit the plus while you're on your profile. You'll do a board, you'll write in, the name of it, you'll create, and it'll make this. So it's just called Cowboy Work in Progress Concept. I haven't done anything to this, and just because of the name, it already has a couple images that it's thinking about. So in order to understand this page, your pins will show up here. In this section, you'll have more ideas. This is a great place to find extra images that are just based off of what you've collected so far. You can organize to move it around. I don't know what to do, sir. You can find that out on your own. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to start searching. So based on my aesthetic, the first thing I'm going to put in is, let's say, my research is cowboy aesthetic. So let's search it up. One thing I want to show is that, so this right now is showing your pins. So we want all pins instead. So this is showing just all pins. I think this might be taking out some of the ads for me. Anyway, so, you start looking around, you start maybe grabbing a couple things. Another thing you may not know that you can do is you can actually search by boards. These are any boards that aren't private boards that other people have made. And when you do that, you can kind of find and cherry pick through some that other people have already done for you. So I might open up a couple ones here. And really it is just going through them and deciding which one you might want to add. So let's say I really like this one of two people. Like at a campfire. That kind of works with some of the things I've said here. So you click here and cowboy, save. And you can see it's saved. A pop-up comes up here. We're all good to go. And so if I go to my profile, into my concept, now it's here. And I can go to more ideas. And based off of just that one pin, now it's already showing me some other pins that I might want to use. So maybe I like these horses, maybe I like this cute little cow. You just start mucking around with it. Oh, there might be some other things that I don't want to show, but anyway. So, you begin to make something here. So I am going to make this for a bit, and then I will show you what it looks like after. All right, so we're back, and as you can see, I've collected 49 pins that have various themes. So the way that I found them was searching for things like, cowboy aesthetic. I looked up, Western nighttime, outlaw, rattlesnake, things like that. So this is a lot. We only need 9 images and we have a lot more than that, but I think it's good. I think that it's good to have a lot of options, and you can always make more than one, graphic if you'd like, or, I've seen people do really, really fun graphics that have a lot more images to them or videos or things like that. I'm just showing you the 3x3, but the sky's really the limit. This should not be a tutorial on how to limit yourself. This is just to get you started. So we're going to jump over to Canva, and I'm just going to look up, there we go, aesthetic grid. This is just to get you started. So you can see there's a lot of different options here that people have already made. You can go by, style and theme and stuff in order to narrow it down. But I'm just going to grab a nice, easy one that is free to use. I think the one at the top will probably be what we use. Yeah, so this one. And so it's going to open up a new tab, and this is our work area. I'm going to skip the tour just because I know how to do this. And you can even see that there are some other ones. So let me just check which one I'd rather use. No, I don't want to use this one. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. This already has some content here, but we can just delete it. So I'm just deleting these that were pre-added. That was just a color. Okay, I'm going to just use this instead. You can see the guiding lines are helping me to, actually, if I delete that first. There we go. So you want the solid lines. That means that it's the center. And when you move things around, those guides are going to help you just make sure that they're in the right place. So right now I have no uploads right now. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to add an image to each of these. These are frames, basically. So it's helpful here because you can easily swap things out without having to make sure every little, pixel is just in line. They're already ready for you. If you don't like the spacing here, one thing you could do is, you can make the whole thing a bit bigger and things like that. You can kind of work it around. And I'm just noticing, I think this isn't centered. So that's fun. I also feel like this one isn't equal. There we go. And then I'm just going to make sure that this whole thing is centered. There we go. If that was bugging you, I'm really sorry about that. That would bug me as well. So I want to have a bit of a mixture of things. I want to show some characters. I want to show the setting. I want to show some objects and maybe 1 or 2 quotes. The way I like to do that is I like to kind of separate it out. So maybe, a character image in the top left, in the middle right, and then the bottom left, and then object, 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 and maybe quote, quote, and then something in the middle. I'm not sure. So kind of maybe think through what you kind of want near each other, colors that you like near each other, things like that. So I'm going to grab here. I'm just going to start looking around for what I think will look good together. When I look in the big picture, I'm seeing kind of a mixture really of cooler and warmer colors, a lot of black and white as well. I think I want to lean more warmer colors and a bit of a darker kind of a little bit gritty, a little bit not quite edgy, but that kind of thing. So I want to keep that in mind while I'm making this. And it's totally it is up to you how you want to do this. I'm going to do it to just the way I like to make things, but you do not need to follow, my aesthetic for it. So I really like this snake. So I'm just going to copy the image, go back to our page. I'm going to paste it in. It just shows up here, but this is where I can add it in. So you look at that right now and you kind of go, okay. But if you double click, then you have the option to start moving it around. So maybe I want it to be a bit bigger. Maybe I kind of want that figure to show in. And this is where you kind of get to have fun with it and start, messing around a little. See what you like, see what works. So that looks a little bit better. Though if I sacrifice that little figure right there, then I can kind of make it, because I don't know about, design theory too much, but I do kind of want to lead the eye in the right way around this aesthetic. So this guy's kind of going to live there for now. And I can always change it later. So I have a snake, which I'm happy about. I do want a horse, but there were horses down here I kind of like the colors of. So I'm going to open that. Maybe we'll put the horses over here. Now, one thing is all the horses are looking over to the right. I can flip this horizontally, and now the horses are leading your eye a little more into the aesthetic rather than out. And I'm just moving this as I like it. So you can see that kind of leads you back in. So you kind of have your two animals here kind of looking into the middle, which I kind of like. I'm not 100% sure what's going to be in the middle. I kind of feel like the quote might be in the middle. Yeah, I like this one. So I think I'm going to copy that one. And I'll put this one in the middle. That kind of feels right. And I'm just going to make it just a little bit bigger. And it has that little grid in the middle that's going to help you. Yeah, okay. So I kind of have our middle part there. I don't have any characters yet. And again, I haven't developed these characters at all, so I don't know them. One of them maybe is a bit more of a show off, and the other one is a bit of a quiet, sly kind of outlaw maybe, but like really that's just me thinking. I kind of like this guy, so I think I'm going to open it up. And maybe I'll put that guy in the bottom and kind of move him like here, maybe. Yeah, I'm into that. Now this one is black and white, so I could put a black and white over here to kind of balance that out. I kind of like that idea. So if I go, do I have any other black and white? I have her, so that's an option. I also have her, which I could make more black and white. So I think I'm going to do that, and I will show you how to do that in a minute. Yeah, and again, do we want to flip this? Yeah, I'm kind of more into that. I'm going to open it. Size it up a little bit. Okay, I'm into that. So again, we can see I'm kind of playing with like dusty colors and black and white in this one, which I'm actually quite a fan of. I like the wanted posters, so I think I'm going to put that one. Maybe this will be like the Outlaws section. That's another thing I think is kind of nice to do, is maybe to section off a certain part for each character. And since there's words here, I want to put words over here. I'm just going to kind of... My trick for this is literally to just make things a little bigger, and that works for me. Oh, and I like this wilderness one. So because these are images as well as text, I kind of like having that. So, on this diagonal, you have yeah, this one doesn't need to be too much bigger, I don't think. But yeah, on this diagonal, you have some words. On this diagonal, you have, there's some characters here. So, you're kind of playing like X's and O's a little bit with your content, but you do not need to do this. This is just how I like to do it. So we only have 2 more slots left. And like I said before, I was kind of thinking of having this for the outlaw and this for the cowboy. So looking at what we have left, I kind of would like something that kind of shows him more like a cowboy, as if I know anything about cowboys. So maybe we'll pick like this close up, like you can kind of see that he's maybe at a ranch. I also kind of like this one. Do we think that one's better? See, this is where, and we also would like some setting. That's the other thing. So maybe I'd actually like this one. And again, we just drag it over. And I'm just going to make it kind of bigger, and it's kind of him going up the slope. You know, so you kind of have him maybe in town, him going up a slope, and then kind of the wilderness Wild West. And so now we need one more for our outlaw. We could do like a wagon, I guess. And again, at any point, you could go and look for some more ideas as well if you're not really finding what you're looking for here in all pins, or you can find it in the boards, for example. So if you just weren't quite loving what you found so far, and again, this is a little bit slapdash, but I think you basically get what I'm going for here. I do like the fire. That's kind of nice. I kind of like this detail because we don't really have the detail. So I think I'm going to pick that detail image and pop that. I actually kind of like just how it's hitting there. I might make it just a little bit bigger and a little bit further down. And there we go. So we have a bit of something here. Now, you can stop here. Totally cool. You're done. You can go share, you can go download as a PNG, and you're ready to go. But I like to tweak it a little more. So clicking one of these, you're going to go to edit image, and you're going to go to adjust. And that's where you can start messing around with the brightness, the contrast, the saturation. Maybe I want less saturation because I have some of those black and white images here. Maybe I want all the corners to be black and white. You can blur or make less blurry, you know, depending on how you want to do that. You can tint it different colors. If you had a specific kind of a tint that you'd like, you can make it a vignette. I'm not quite sure what X process does, but you can do that. Maybe I want it a little bit warmer. The clarity kind of ups some of the detail. Vibrancy will up the colors. I don't really want that. Highlights will boost up the white. Shadows will obviously boost up the shadows. And then fade, I kind of like a little bit of a fade. So I think I like that. I would definitely want less saturation. So one thing, if you want all of your images to match that same style, you can take the filter code down here, copy it, and then go to another image. So this is all changing this top right image now, and paste that in. And now that's going to be the same one. So you can kind of see, Control Y. Oops. So you can kind of see, look at it now, and then look at it after. So it's kind of brightened it a bit. I think I want to take away some of the warmth just to make it appear a bit more black and white. Yeah, I'm really liking that. So already that's starting to seem a little more cohesive. For this one, I might want to bring in a little bit more of that warmth. I don't think I need to really brighten it. Another thing to consider with these, I'll just be messing around, but you can see when I'm editing as I go. Another thing you might want to consider with these is, what was I about to say? Not 100% sure what I was about to say. Well, anyway, consider something, I guess. So I'm going to keep all these options here. I'm going to apply it to here, see how I like it. I think I want this to be a little darker. I'm not sure if I love this, to be honest. Like this one, it was funny because it was like the one I started with, and yet it's the one I like the least. So let's change it. I can show you how to change something. So let's say I want this guy instead. So all you do is click it and delete, and you're good to go. And we just select that in. Yeah, I'm kind of more into the real rattlesnake like coiled up here, and that kind of fits some of the colors. So again, I'm just going to take this. Now, I'm doing it beginner style. There's no reason you couldn't do, you know, more or less. There's a lot of different options in Canva that you can play around with. I'm going to take down the dark and contrast a little bit. Another thing I like to do, which I won't do here, but maybe if, you know, anyone's interested, I'd be happy to do a part 2, is that while this is great for some things, it's not the most powerful program. You know, you can also do this with other programs like Photoshop. The one I love is actually for your phone, and it's called Lightroom. It's by Adobe, and it's free. And it really helps you fine tune a lot of the colors, and I really find that it makes it pop. I think I'm gonna warm this up just a little bit. I'm gonna warm this guy up just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And now that those guys are warmed up, I kind of want to warm this one up. So at this point, I can decide like this is all good and I'm happy with it. And I really actually am. I think this actually came out kind of nice. Um so this is the point where I would stop. Of course, there are other things that you can do in Canva. If you wanted to add your own text, for example, if you wanted to add your own text somewhere, then you can add a heading, text. You can, choose whatever text that you think is, nice and aesthetic and put it down. This kind of looks like the Twilight font. And, you can figure that out. But this is the basics. This is how you get a 3x3 grid that you could post on Twitter or Instagram just to show off some key concepts of your story. So I hope that was helpful. Again, if you want anything, like I can do a tutorial on how to add video, I can do a tutorial on how to use Lightroom for your phone, things like that. I'd be very happy to do so. And again, I really want to stress this is not the only way to do this. There's hundreds of ways to do this. So this is just your beginner route into how to do it. And so if you do make anything through this, I really would love to see what you make. So I am on Twitter at SL Hawthorne. That's Hawthorne without an E at the end. I'd love to see it. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a really great day. Bye.